Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. Hopefully, everyone's doing well. I know that I am slap dab in the middle of a typhoon. Yeah, baby. Game in the middle of a typhoon. That's how you do. That's what a proper nerd does. But then again, this thing is literally traveling at the speed of a bicycle. It's been approaching with daunting terror for days and days. Over a week now, I think. It's literally traveling at the speed of a bicycle, but it's finally made it to the edge of our shores. So I'm imagining we'll be dealing with it for the next, I don't know, days. But you get those like that over
Mhm.
here. They're a little bit different. The Pacific Ocean is very wide and broad. It's much warmer than the Atlantic Ocean. And therefore, the weather system, which we call a hurricane, operates in a very different way, GOP. Uh, over in the Atlantic, you see what happens is it gets all boiling hot down there in that Caribbean, down where that Gulf Stream is kicking out, right? And it'll pump itself up, but it comes in immediately with ferocity, and you get all that slamming energy power, but not a lot of rain. Not really. Occasionally we get a big rainstorm, but mostly what you're getting is just this hot energy ripping into the landmass. Over here, the typhoon, which I use different words because they are different. It is created way deep down in the ocean. It travels over the ocean most of its life, actually. And when they finally do hit landfall, they don't have that initial hot intensity striking power. The winds don't get anywhere near as fast, but they will drop literally an ocean on you. So different. Yeah, which kind of reminds me of something very interesting, guys. My wife was reciting a news story to me yesterday. I just chuckled. We know what's going on with the Boy Scouts recently, right? Matter of fact, they don't call
Oh,
themselves the Boy Scouts; they are the Scouts because it has to be inclusive and diverse. Even though the girls are more than welcome to have their own Girl Scouts, boys no, no boys for the Scouts, and all the other kind of nonsense things they've been doing. But some moron in Boy Scouts, or excuse me, I keep making that error. Scouts International, they decided that hey, we're going to be more super diverse, and we're going to go to South Korea for our annual jamboree, right? Or maybe
yeah.
biannual, quarterly, annual, and I don't know how often they do those things these days. Is it turned into the Olympics now? I don't know. But they decided they were going to go to South Korea for their jamboree. Now, I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid. How about you guys?
No.
No, no
No,
love, huh?
never got.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it's
All
all
right.
right.
Well, I was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, and I
I
was
think
also an
I think my
Indian
dad
Scout.
was a scout.
Yeah. Well, it actually used to be quite valuable. It taught you a lot of shit.
Uh-huh.
But
Like
nevertheless,
nuts.
um, so they decided they're going to have their jamboree. Now, the jamboree is, I think when I was a kid, it was annual celebration. And they decided they're going to do it in South Korea. Let me do this real quick. Join us live. Just hitting like and share. Hopefully, you guys do the same. Let people know we're on. But
Mhm.
now here's the thing: if you bothered to kind of go on the internet and do, I don't know, the most nascent amount of research. I mean, literally. I mean, like, you know, tower level of research.
Okay.
Right.
Man, we
you
rip on Tower a lot.
well, he's the youngin. He deserves it.
That's true.
Um, but
Mm.
you would find out that summer in Asia. Well,
Uh-huh.
let me find the appropriate modern terminology for a GOP. Sucks. Yeah, it's not like over in the West when we have this image of summertime, and some of those other coolio things, you know.
All over the season.
Summer. You like that? That was good, wasn't it?
Mm.
I get a couple points for that. But
The ears are bleeding.
yes, but the thing is, in America and Europe, for the most part, summer's great fun.
Depends
Sun's
on where you are.
right. You can run into tornadoes and certain things can happen, but it's much better. It's fun, right? It's summertime. In Asia, it is rain, rain, and then puffing, more rain. And then you
Oh my
sprinkle
gosh,
in a
more
couple
rain?
of dozen typhoons.
Not
So,
typhoons.
yes, typhoons, yeah. So,
No.
therefore, you can imagine what the Boy Scouts International might have encountered over in South Korea here last week. And you would be correct. Everyone got sick. Dysentery was ripping through the little boys,
Really?
literally. Everyone got themselves stung up and rained upon. And it's like, yeah, once again, even just a nascent amount of research would have showed you that, yeah, you don't go to Asia in the summertime, dude. What are you
Well, you
talk?
don't
What do
go
you?
to the scouts to be prepared.
I no, that's the problem, right? Good job, GOP. See, I left that open for you. That dangled for a
Hmm.
while. I don't know
I
if
got it eventually.
you did. Thank you. But yeah, dude, it's woof. This is the problem when you encourage mediocrity. You know what happens? You
You
get
get the
it.
mediocre.
You get it, dude. Yeah.
Come on, man. You're making fun of me?
Yeah. Yes, I am. That was pretty good, actually. I instantly knew who it was.
Yeah, he's I think it's pretty well known at this point.
It's true.
What?
Yeah.
Which
Come
one?
on, man.
What?
Oh,
Look here,
Biden.
corn pop.
Oh,
All right.
take corn pop out behind the stage.
No,
I
no, no, no,
wonder
no.
if there ever was a real corn pop. I mean, to be fair, as a politician, he was not the smartest guy. If you listen to him back in the day, and I'm sure he lied probably 80% of the time. Pretty standard politician, right?
Yeah.
However, these days we've peppered in a little bit of, grandpa's Alzheimer's there. So now
I
we're getting
know.
some real creative stuff.
But don't worry, everyone. He's completely legitimate.
Yeah. No problems with that, right?
Uh,
But
Like,
unbelievable,
you
man. I
mean
mean, God, Boy Scouts. I mean, the whole thing with the Boy Scouts, for those of you who don't know, my generation was, we were still normal Americans, you know. But things have changed. But the whole point of the Boy Scouts, the motto, even as GOP has told you, is always be prepared. I got my fingers up too, both of them. Both fingers are up.
I've only got one finger up right now.
Yeah, well, fine. But you're supposed to have both
I know
fingers
which
up
finger
and give
that
your
is.
your scout oath. You're supposed to also do that when you cross the road, which no one does that anymore. And you're also supposed to do that whilst helping old women across the road, because that was a very Boy Scouts thing to do. You could get a merit badge on helping old ladies. The problem
Oh,
with it
hey,
is
we can help lady across the road.
we could, but the problem is getting signatures.
I heard that they got rid of that one and they replaced it with proper pronouns.
Well, they might well have. Matter of fact, with that, let's take a moment here and let's check. I think you prompted something interesting. So let me go ahead and bring this up. I'm going to bring over the page. So let's see here. I'm going to
What
put
have
in
you
Boy
done?
Scouts. They can go to
Now
hell.
he's gonna say things.
Boy Scouts merit badge list. All
Well, you
right.
can't look up Boy Scouts. You have to look up Scouts.
Oh no, they can go to hell.
Because then it might give
They
you the
can
old
go to hell.
list.
It says Boy Scouts of America right here. And it's a girl on the front page. Yes, oh, dude, it claps, please claps. Everyone, please. Oh my God, you jackasses. You jackasses. It even says Boy Scouts of America, and you put a woman on the not a woman, a girl on the front. And she's one of those eyebrow ones too. Yeah, your dating life's got to suck, baby doll, but you can learn to pluck. Okay.
That's a
So
lot of luck.
A lot of pluck. A lot of plucking.
So would you call her plucky?
That would be
That
too
was the
easy. Here,
joke
view
I was
all
trying to
merit
make.
badges. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I bet you it's different than when I was a kid. Let's see here. So we have American business, okay. Animal science, yeah, I had that one. Archery, I was pretty good at that one. I'm actually a fair archer. I went hunting quite a bit with archery. I don't know. As far as a trained archer, I guess they're probably mediocre, but I can do it. Architecture, did it. Built the shed, built it, all of it. Got the badge. Composite materials, what the hell's that? Cooking, yep, did that. Cycling, I don't remember that one. Digital technology, we didn't have that. But then again, no, we built radios. Is that probably the replacement? You think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Disability awareness. Don't kick the blind dog. Okay, good. I got that one. Emergency preparedness. We did something similar.
Well,
If
why would you want to kick a blind dog?
exactly. Environmental
I
science.
don't think that's the whole list, though. I think it's requirements update. So what does that?
Oh, geez. And no, it
So
says
if you
all
scroll
merit
down, it
badges
says
right here.
no. Scroll
Here it
down.
is. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
this
right.
is the full
All right,
list.
be
Yeah.
like that. We got pictures too now. Let's
Okay.
see. American heritage. Yep, definitely. Glad they got American cultures. That's cool. Labor, science, animal sciences, animation. I never had to do that. Archaeology. Yep. We all collected the arrowheads. It's amazing how many of them just lie scattered about. I have a feeling that the history of America is not clearly understood.
Or very peaceful.
I would think no. Yeah, I mean seriously, go outside and and take a look around for 5 minutes. See if you don't find an arrowhead.
Well,
They
outside,
last
but
a while, you know.
They're all yeah, but I'm just saying they're all over the place. How is there that many? It's weird. Art
there's a
never had
lot of
that.
Indians.
Astronomy had that. Athletics, of course. I was very mediocre at that, but I got my badge. Let's see. Aviation. Never had to fly a plane in the Boy Scouts. Good to know. Backpacking definitely a thing. Basketry. Yes. Bird study. Ornithology is fun. And actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but not
Oh,
only do I understand ornithology at a Boy Scout level, anyway, I also can play the song. hmm
oh,
Uh,
wait! I had an idea,
Mythology song.
Chester.
Yes, Charlie Parker. It's like one of the most difficult sax songs ever written. Canoeing. I had
Wait,
to
oh,
test on it in university. Bastards.
anywho,
Bastards. Uh, anyway, I'm
but
sorry. You were trying to say, Puffin. I'm having fun laughing at the Boy Scouts. Go
oh,
ahead.
we can do that in a second. I just thought, what if you played a superhero game and your like you had a character that was, a Boy Scout and they were fighting
hmm
against everything that the modern Boy Scouts is not.
Well, let's see. We have rankings here. We have Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts. So, what would be the adult version? And I
Scoutmaster.
and no, GOP, they are not butt scouts. I know what you're thinking. I heard it.
Oh
I
no.
was just thinking that I enjoy bird watching, especially looking at tits.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
great. I love
I,
tits.
yep.
It's one old bird joke. Old bird watching joke.
Yeah.
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 Monty Python returns in the flesh 2023. All right.
I love Monty Python.
Oh, Monty Python's great. Flying Circus is awesome. Rowan
Search for
Atkinson
the
wrote
Holy Grail.
a great deal of it, actually. The interesting thing is he never showed up in it, though, huh? That I recall. Did he? No, maybe he played a bailiff, or he might have showed up and occasionally, huh? But in general, he wasn't in that
Oh.
much. Those guys are all went to school together. Let's see, citizen, world climbing, coin collection. Yeah, collections in general. Toenails. Those are one way to get past easily. Coming to positive materials. Don't know what that means. I suppose I imagine it's part of carpentry. Yeah. Dentistry.
I
Hey
imagine.
Tyler, I can fix your face after you get in a fight.
Okay.
Does anyone have a dentistry badge? I am a dentist.
I'm just picturing a young Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Well, my internet is saying exploration. I look like Indiana Jones there. Farm mechanics. Anyway, a lot of this is actually looks like
Yep.
the old stuff. There are some new things in here, and understandably new. I haven't. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, but I didn't find the diversity and equity badge. But I'm sure it's here. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. All jokes aside, if your local area is not too intolerable, you probably, and you have kids, you should probably put them in the Scouts. I have to go check it and see what it's like. But the thing with the Boy Scouts is, it teaches your children, your sons particularly, a lot of skills, dude. A lot of real, actual, useful skills. And combining that with my turn of the century grandma, I learned lots of shit, dude. Right? Actually, cows and chickens and how to keep animals and gardening and moving in the woods and forest and triangulation and compassing and all that kind of really handy shit that young people don't seem to know. Puffin, if I
Yes.
dropped you in the
Uh-huh.
center of 100-acre wood, could you find your way out?
Probably. I'd ask Winnie the Pooh.
That's fair. But Winnie is notoriously confused.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Maybe if Rabbit or Piglet was there.
Yeah, well,
Um,
Rabbit would probably be the fair. You would have to listen to him for an additional
or
3 hours, but you would
what
probably
about
get the
Owl?
correct name. Owl would be the perfect choice. That would be the smart man's choice. Yes,
Let's see. But I think the way I'd get out is, first try to see which way moss grows, and so I can tell which way's north,
you
and
could do
then
that.
start
You could do
heading in a
that.
direction.
You could do that. Yeah. Um, yeah. There.
Also, I could try to find a high place so I could get a bearing of where I am, and see if I see a smokestack or something like that,
Right.
or
Beware of the
you know,
bears. That's
yeah,
useful.
beware of bears.
Yes.
Also, there's the trick where you can like balance a leaf and it'll act like a magnifying glass.
Oh yeah, that one. I saw that one. Another really good
Mm,
tip: don't have a female with you.
yeah,
That's a good tip.
that'll
Oh,
lower your chance of survival.
It does
yeah.
incredibly so. Yeah. You know.
My feet hurt. When are we gonna get there?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the woman. You can find good women.
True.
Uh,
That's
but
true.
uh, but uh,
I
in
don't
Still,
know,
general,
not
yeah.
in our generation.
Maybe I don't know. I haven't been in America in decades, dude. I mean,
Oh, dude, you would have a stroke.
let's see. The last time I was living in the mainland was about 30 years ago. It's getting on close to 30 years. 28, I guess. I did visit the mainland in, let's see, what would that have been? 2003? No, no, it wasn't 2003. 2000. No, no, it was a year after the Trade Center. So it was at 2022?
well,
2022.
not 2022, 2002.
2002. That one. Yeah, that one. 2002. I went to San Francisco for a convention and meeting. So, which I was kind of surprised. It was perfectly chilly and cool, and I loved the temperature. I loved it. It was great. My clock is sideways. We must have had an earthquake last night, and I didn't even wake up. Oh well, let me fix it. We get them so often here that, yeah, no, we definitely had an earthquake last night. All right. All right, poor little clock. There you go. Let me see if everything else is standing in the way it should. I guess I should check the house. Oh, I see. Everything's down. Yeah, no, we had an earthquake. Didn't even know. Great. Big enough to cause moving. I guess I just kind of floated there in the bed. But we do get a lot of them here in Japan. So, you guys ever experience an earthquake?
I believe so.
I think I'm pretty sure I did when I was down in San Diego,
Uh huh.
but it was like so minor.
Yeah.
I was because I was visiting my little brother, and I was like at some bar. I forget what it was, but I was just standing there, and I feel like just it's slightly shaking, just very slightly. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like it barely registered, but I think it's
Right.
the only time I've ever like experienced it.
Oh, I
You know.
see. Yeah, no, we get those kind of little shakes all the time, constantly. The bigger ones, it depends. Like I said, I've been through so many big earthquakes. The thing is, earthquakes aren't really that big a deal. If you're in an area that understands them and builds accordingly. If you're in a properly built building in an earthquake, it's really not a concern, right? The
Uh-huh.
problem with earthquakes is the tsunami. Because water's
Yeah.
badass, and it doesn't play.
Well,
Mm-mm.
good thing I live in the Midwest.
Yeah, you're good.
That's the thing. You just gotta hit Chester with those mannerisms that make him go crazy,
Well,
like calling
no,
him.
because my answer to that was yes, unless you were living 12,790 years ago, GOP, and then you'd be dead because literally a wall a mile high would have flown over the top of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I
Don't
probably wouldn't be living here.
No, you
So
wouldn't. You'd be dead. Yeah, that's true.
not
don't
dead.
worry about it, GOP. Just be like, hey Chester, how you doing, fam? And then he'll just have an
No, don't
aneurysm.
do that. Don't throw the fam at me. We don't want no fam. Yeah. 2002 America was a different world than the U.S. today. It was, Dave. I mean, back then everyone wore the little pin. They were very pro-American, very patriotic. I mean, I'd like to kick a hole in the side of George W. Baby Bush and all his team because America found themselves in an opportunity to reconcile with the world and bring everyone closer together because we know America's been acting a fool since the 70s. We know this, especially since the
Oh God, that hurt.
mid 70s on with our international policy. Yeah, yeah, acting a fool, and of course before that even. But instead of taking the opportunity to have some reconciliation and bring the world together, because there was a moment, there was a moment that
There's a
guy,
moment in
that baby Bush, allowed those frickin' warmongers like Rumsfeld and all those other jackasses around him to thunder us into the Middle East and into war. And then, of course, what does that do? Because the Republicans can't hold power for any length of time, so that means Democrats are going to come, and they love the war. Democrats are all about murder and shit, right? So you put
Uh-huh.
that in there. Oh God, Bill Clinton had a frickin' field day, right? And then after him, who do we get? We got no, that was after. It's gonna be after him.
after
Who was it? Was it Obama?
Bush.
after
No, it was
Bush.
Bush too.
No, I'm talking about Baby Bush now. I was talking
Oh,
After
after
about Bush.
Baby Bush was
George
It
Obama.
was
W.
Obama, right?
Bush, it was
Yeah.
Obama.
Okay, yeah. Then we got Obama, and he just loved it. Matter of fact, he was clearly on the other side because how many times did he? Oops, we gave the enemy billions of dollars of stuff, and of course, Biden and did how many billions did he give them when we left? Was it 36 billion or something like that?
I mean, we'll probably never know the actual number.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. I mean, but the thing is, don't go in there making war because the Democrats will never leave. They love that shit. Democrats love them some war, dude. When are people going to learn? Right?
And yet the motto here back home is inclusion, wokeness, and everybody's friend.
I thought we were at war with Russia. What happened?
I think we just got tired. I mean, Russians drink about as much
Or
as
they got their ass kicked? Maybe that's what happened. Yeah.
who did.
Everybody that isn't Russian. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, if you recall GOP a year or so ago, what did I say?
I'm still not really sold on that idea, but
But it's happening right in front of your face, dude.
everything I've seen, I'm not saying it's going well for either side. I think it's kind of it's definitely a highly attritional war for both sides right
Dude,
now.
Russia is way up economically, dude. They're way up. They have
Not
no
from what I've seen
issues. BRICS
recently.
is not as strong as I would think it would be. So you could take that. You could take that. But no, Russia is way up in every metric, dude. every metric, including the popularity of Putin, especially so. And of course they've been kicking their ass since day one, because the only one who actually cares about the Ukrainians is Putin. How weird is that shit?
I don't buy that either personally, but then
Just look
again,
what he's done. Judge action, not rhetoric.
yeah, there's a lot of mass killing going on in Ukraine. So I'm
Well,
not
dude,
I'm
when
not
you
saying
drop
that
Chechens and say go, maintain
I
shit, that's what you get.
well, I mean, but that is warfare in that part of the world. That's what happens. But I don't think it's like a kumbaya kind of thing. You
No,
know,
of course
like
not. War is
I
not kumbaya. That's true.
I think that I think that Russia, simply by numbers and by the size of their nation and the industrial capacity, I think they will win eventually. But I
They
don't think it's
already
going to
have, dude. They
be.
won a year ago. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, GOP. They've always won it. This is not an actual conflict. It's not. And it wasn't until it was made exceedingly clear to Putin that there will be no negotiation that he was like, okay, fine, generals, go do your job. And in the past few months, we've seen them just walking systematically across Ukraine, dude.
I've
Just
I've
watching them.
been watching the War Mapper stuff. It's not like that at all. From
It
what
is like
everything that
that.
I have
I
seen.
think you're listening to the wrong people, dude. I really think you should go get a more diverse amount of information and look at a larger amount and a different amount of people, and you'll see the truth is quite far different. You got plenty like this one blog that comes up. It's called Joe Blog. I think it's called the Joe Blog. It's like it's registered as business or something like that.
Joe
Businessman.
blogs
I think that's what it's called. That guy
because
is 100% a government shill. He's got to be, or he's just an idiot. Because everything he says is a lie. Everything is radical lie. And once again, nascent level of research would show you that he is lying to you. And there's a lot of that. And I'm not saying just go listen to what the Russians say either. Don't do that, right there, but there's plenty of good information out there. You just have to look at a broader, that's the thing with news today, and it's frustrating. I understand everyone's frustration because it should be convenient enough that you turn on headline news. Do they even have that anymore? Does that exist? Did that go away?
uh
That's going away.
yeah, I
Well,
don't
I
really.
mean, if you just to turn on headline news, get 100% accurate news, boy, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be
I
great? But
I
we
kind
don't
of
live in
don't
that
watch
world.
cable in general. Like
Well,
I
you
don't
know what I
have
mean,
cable.
though.
Yeah,
It
no,
would
I know
be
what you mean.
nice because most
Sure.
people, shocking, are busy with their lives. They have
Yeah.
families to deal with, budgets to balance. They have shit to do. They don't need to be wasting their time out there researching news. But that's what you have to do. So you got to make the time. I mean, that's the world we live in, dude. So. But I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you need to diversify your what you're looking at, GOP. It's not what you think it is at all. Now, maybe it's because I'm on the other side of the planet, and therefore and maybe my language skill. So I will see what India is saying. I will see what Al Jazeera is saying. I'll pay attention to what the Indonesians. The Indonesians are actually quite impartial. I'll pay attention to what the Chinese are saying, and then believe the opposite, et cetera, et cetera. But like the Germans were 100% on board with this. But go watch Deutsche Welt. Go watch it. You can find an English subtitle version of it. Go watch Deutsche Welt. A year or so ago, they were 100% marching orders in line with the Pentagon. Now, dude, the Germans are getting their ass absolutely handed to them. They are not happy, and it's cracking. And you're starting to see more and more honest news coming out of Deutsche Welt. I look at all these news sources, right? And of course, the Drudge Report is always quite useful.
Well, I mean, I'll reiterate the stance I think I've made in the past, where it's like I'm not against a Russian victory, honestly. Like it's from from the perspective of do I want the wholly corrupt Western side of things to be victorious here? The government that's weaponized against you know the people on my side of things. No. It's so Ukraine is just part of the game, but like from my perspective as an American who's pretty anti-establishment, uh, obviously the West winning in that regard is not really a positive for me.
Okay,
You
okay.
know,
You've put all your caveats on. Go ahead.
yeah. So from that perspective, I would prefer, Russia to be victorious in this event. Um, I just don't really everything that I've seen. I don't really see it as it certainly looks a lot more attritional, a lot more World War One style. The lines aren't moving very much.
They are
For
moving though. They're moving completely. Whenever the Russians decide to move, it moves. When they don't, it doesn't. The Ukrainians aren't moving anything. You're correct. And when you talk about attrition, the most pro-Western opinion has attrition at 9-1, right? And actually, it's much higher than that. But even the Western pro-Western Russia is the greatest evil ever, right? Putin is the reincarnation of Satan. It is a 9-1 attrition. 9-1. That's not attritional, GOP. That is called ultra multiplication of decimation.
Yeah, I haven't heard the 9-1 from the Western perspective. I've heard it, from other perspectives. Because I mean, when you are the attacking force, when you are
Well, the
on the
Russians say
offensive,
28-1.
yeah,
I
when
don't
you're
believe
when
that
you're
either.
on the offensive side, when you're on the offensive side, the odds are that you're going to lose more troops than the defending side, simply because a lot of these places are open. I mean, Ukraine is very flat, and I think that the reason why Russia went to war in the first place in this area is because of strategic choke points that are beyond Ukraine. So I don't think Ukraine is the final stop here. I mean,
Oh wow,
obviously, I think
dude, you have frickin' drank the Kool-Aid, GOP.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have.
No, I don't think it's the final stop because I think geographically and historically, Russia has always wanted to go to certain points and be at strategic choke points in order to concentrate their forces. And that's beyond Ukraine. Like that's not
Well,
that's not like Russia like it just wants to go
you're
pick a
not
fight.
you're not paying attention to the plan. You're not. You're
I'm
you're
looking at
listening to Western propagandists,
every
dude.
war that or well not every war, but the majority of the wars that Russia has got involved with after the fall of the Soviet Union. So um, you know, 1991 beyond. Uh it has been to shore up their strategic positions because historically speaking, when those positions aren't controlled by Russia proper, then enemy forces can flow through those positions. And once they get into the broader mainland, it's flat, it's open, it's easy to push a Mongol horde through, essentially.
Right. I
And
understand
that's
what you're saying. Then
and that's
explain
that's Russian.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan was before the collapse of the Soviet Union, not
True.
after. They had, while the Soviet Union was together, they had control of basically all the points that they needed to.
Right.
So when the Soviet Union collapsed, most of their western and a lot of their southern flank got basically those choke points got eroded away.
Yes.
So Ukraine in and of itself, except for the Crimean Peninsula, but Ukraine in and of itself is not a strategic choke point
Wow.
per se.
You really
But
misunderstand the Russians, dude. You really do misunderstand the Russians, modern Russia. It's not what you think. You're still thinking that they're Soviets. and you're listening to Western propagandists, that's not how the Russians think anymore. They are not globalists anymore. They have given that up. They gave it up 20 plus years ago, dude. They do not think that way. And the reason why they're having success at this particular moment in time is because they don't think that way. They actually are no longer thinking, we are the mighty Russia, we're going to roll over you. Instead, what they're saying, well, we're not the most powerful country anywhere near it. Therefore, we need to make friends and have allies. This is the modern Russia. And a lot of people, these idiots in Washington, on Fox News, and all the other morons that speak on the news constantly, what they don't understand is this is not Putin's war. This is the Duma's war. This is their choice, and it was a smart one, and they should have done it a long time ago. But Putin is the one that's been slowing it down because Putin, shocking, is an anti-war dude,
How
right?
much power does the Duma actually have in Russia?
A lot, to the point that they can drive Putin to do what they want him to do. Yes, this is the Duma's war. This is not Putin's war. And
What's
his
the
slow
Dumas?
playing of it
The
is what is irritating the hell out of the Duma. And he could be in political danger because of it.
I like I'm just not sold on
A
it at the
puppy.
point or at this point.
I know.
It we'll know. Look, I'm not saying that I know for certain because I mean I could be wrong and you could be wrong, but we won't really know until the smoke clears, essentially, until this thing is whatever happens is officially over. And then, you look at the aftermath and like when the West is no longer involved and then goes, okay, well, I guess this is
Well,
what actually happened. But you
that
won't
is
probably know that for
that
years
is
later.
I understand what you're saying. But that has never been true in the history of ever. The thing that is the truth is the victor writes the history, GOP.
True.
Yeah.
But
You never know the
you
truth of
still
anything. You have to find it at the moment, right? And but in the end, the master stroke that Putin did pull off before he was forced into this situation by the West. It's the West. It's NATO and America and the UN that, I mean, excuse me, and the EU that forced the situation. And Putin couldn't, the Duma was in his ear constantly, and he had to do something about it. But his work before this all kicked off is freaking brilliant. And that's where I give him credit. As a war leader, I don't think he's a very good one. And for him, just recently, really, in this whole situation, just letting the generals start to do their job, he's not the greatest at that. But his preparation and building of up of bricks, it's not like bricks is perfect. There are holes in it. There are problems, but it
plenty.
is a plenty. But it is a strong option, and the reason why you have China and India working together, even though they hate each other's guts, and they hate each other in a serious manner that an American can't understand, right? But they're working together nevertheless because it is the right play. It is the right play, and it's working for them. China is having a lot of issues because the CCP is having issues, and that's a very long conversation.
What's
But
the CCP?
The Chinese Communist Party. And to answer your question, the Duma is kind of like the equivalent of Congress,
yeah,
kind of
it's
in
Congress.
Russia.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the Duma.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what you were asking? I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I'm on a rant.
That was a
Um,
little bit earlier.
yeah, no, Duma is just their Congress. Yeah, their
Yeah.
political parties
Oh,
organization. But no, I mean, and the thing is, because Russia has this in hand so well, in the end, the West is going to spin it however they spin it. They're already spinning it, right? But because of the modern age of and SNS and all that stuff, you you can see the truth a lot clearer. And the thing is, we're getting a lot of the SNS stuff that's coming out in Russian. Now, I suppose that's a benefit I have, right? But the Russian people are staunchly in support. And I've said this before, and you have to understand the Russian people have a certain understanding that the West doesn't give them credit for, right? Because ever since their inception, and keep in mind they basically were a Viking trading post. It was Kiev. That's exactly it. Literally means red wall, right? Because they put a wall up, right? And and after the attacks of Tamerlane, which is Chinggis Khan's one of his sons, they ended up escaping to the east into another small up and coming city at the time, city state, which was called Muscovy, and of course that's Moscow today. And that's their inception. So we're going back to the Mongol horde, Golden Horde time, the creation of Russia, right? And ever since that moment, the Europeans, as they constantly do, have been looking down their nose at the Russians, as they do with us, even though we've been over their ass here for how many decades now? They still look down on all you stupid wild cowboys. They laugh at us, they mock us, they look down on us because that's how the Europeans are. And they've been doing that to the Russians way longer than they've been doing that to us, centuries longer, by the way. And they've
You would
always
think
headed
that
out for the Russians. And the Russian people know it. What was that, Puffin?
us and the Russians would get along because of
We
that.
should be the best of friends, dude. We should be. We should be. Yeah. Now I understand the whole communist thing, bit of a problem. But now that that's been eliminated by little old Gorbachev, is he still alive? I saw him recently.
He died recently.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, that guy lived a long time. But I mean, we should be the best of friends, Putin. You're right. We have
I
very
think,
similar mentalities. We should be working together against these noisy people in the world. You're right.
yeah.
And if
What
we
was I
kept
gonna
our
say?
promises and we did what we said we're going to do, we would be. But the problem is, GOP, when has America or Europe ever kept a treaty? Name one.
Well, it depends on how long we're talking.
Let's
Right?
see, more than 3 years.
Well, we've managed to hold on to NATO so long, but it hasn't really been tested.
That's true.
You know.
That is true.
For,
It's just the money. I'm sure there's money being vacuumed into something with that. But
well,
the problem with
yeah.
America and Europe is they don't keep their word. They just don't. And America never has. I'm an American. I love my country. Sure, it's a great experiment. Yada yada yada. But we Americans have been breaking our word. Therefore our treaties from almost day one, dude. Almost day
Oh,
one. How many treaties
true.
we make with the native tribes and we broke them almost immediately? How many we broke treaties with the Philippines, with the various Caribbean islands, with the Africans, with the Europeans on multiple occasions? We break our word constantly.
Well,
We
that's I
cannot be
think
trusted.
a major issue too when you have the more liberal democratic, quote unquote
Oh, they're the worst.
democratic.
They are the
Well,
worst. Yes.
because you have that political fluctuations
Frickin'
in
John
nations like
Adams.
that.
God damn John Adams. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
But
Who's John
like,
Adams?
uh,
You know,
okay.
creator of the Constitution,
Oh, that
President of the United
Adams. John Adams. My
States,
bad.
hardcore
Yeah.
liberal Democrat.
My
Anyways,
bad.
Yeah,
That John
yeah,
Adams.
that
My
John Adams.
apologies.
We
I
we
thought you were
I'd
talking
much
about someone more
rather have a
recent.
Jeffersonian country.
amen. But that's been dead since Lincoln. So,
Yeah, Lincoln was an ass though. It's
but
it's it's shocking how similar Clinton and not Clinton, Lincoln and Obama were. Shocking,
uh,
dude.
I wouldn't. Obama was very aloof, though.
Yeah,
Like
no,
Obama.
you're
The
talking
guy was.
more speaking. I'm talking about action and results.
No. I'm saying action wise, Obama liked the power, but he really didn't like actually doing the work.
Well, he
That
didn't do
was
shit. I mean, all he did
that was
was
that was the thing.
disintegrate the camaraderie and unity of
Lincoln
America. That's all he did.
Lincoln was a
So did Lincoln.
micromanager. Well, no, but Lincoln was a micromanager.
Yeah,
Lincoln
right.
actually liked to do the work.
Yeah, no, you're
He
right.
liked to get into
But
the
you
nitty
you
gritty.
understand my analogy though.
Yeah, I mean the destructive nature, but I I I almost think that Obama wasn't as he wasn't as intelligent enough in his reasoning to actually like he wasn't intent. I
Well,
want to
it's
say
hard
he
to
wasn't
know.
intentionally trying
Right, no, it's
to
hard to
cause such
know his
division.
level of intelligence though, isn't it? It's hard to know.
Yeah,
He's not Biden dumb, and I'm talking
no,
about pre-grandpa Alzheimer's Biden, by the way. He's not
he's
that
like
level of dumb. But it is hard to know, yeah.
and when I say dumb, I mean more in the sense of I
Aloof.
don't think he focuses on the like I don't think it was intentional to cause so much destruction,
Obama,
especially
yes, it
like
was. It was
no, 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 I
100%.
not so much in the sense of I don't think he's like innocent in all this. I just don't think that he had some sort of master plan
Yeah, he did.
that
I disagree. I think he did exactly what he was asked to do,
I
because
mean, then
he's
why would he
clearly a plan.
say,
He,
like,
yeah.
remember whenever the election was rigged a few years ago,
which we
like
can say now.
Obama,
Thanks, our YouTube
what?
overlords.
Well, the thing is, Obama went to Joe Biden and said, you don't have to do this.
Well, because he
Well, they
knew
did.
that he was declining, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of wanted him to back out.
Well,
You
the
know.
thing is, in a certain way, though, Biden is the perfect little stool pigeon for him, though, isn't he? I mean, he's
Well,
exactly perfect for the deep state to control and do whatever they want. It's exactly what they want.
I wouldn't even say that though because he just he does what Trump kind of does, but he does it out of the fact that he can't really like he's so forgetful. He'll just spill things out. Where Trump will be like bragging about things that the government doesn't want people to hear about. Like we just sold so many weapons to
Yeah, no,
to
it's Trump.
Saudi
It's Trump. It's
Arabia.
true. Now,
Yeah, that
I don't
he
think.
was like gloating over
Do
stuff.
you
But like
actually believe Biden is in charge of anything at any
no,
second of the day? Any second.
but what I'm saying with Biden is that because of his mental decline, he'll spill things out. He'll talk about things that he's not supposed to, and then you have to have the White House pull him back, and then immediately after retract whatever he said.
Right, no.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's hilarious. Did you know that Biden is a mutant?
Really?
um,
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I guess the only cool thing about the
what
man,
power did
other
he
than
get?
corn pop and ice cream, because I like ice cream. Yeah. But no, I don't know if you guys caught it, but people are constantly grasping for any potential conspiracy theory they can find because they're fun. I understand that, but people are people. But the whole Joe Biden has been replaced. Who's the new guy? This isn't Joe Biden, right? And of course, what it is that Biden is a mutant. You see, the left side of his head, his ear is one of the connecting ears to the head. There's no lobe, but the right ear has a lobe. So if you're looking at a picture from him from one angle to the other, you will see the lobe is very clearly different. And I've never personally seen that myself, but I'm sure there's a percentage at which this happens. But he literally has both, and you go check it, and that's where people are like, he's been replaced because they were shown the earlobe, and it's just like, well, okay, take a minute, go. I saw it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I went and checked it, and very quickly I saw this genetic abnormality that he has.
So how desperate would Professor X have to be to actually bring him in?
Well, I wish we had Professor X because it would be we end up in a slightly progressive world, but it would probably be better
Well, yeah, it's
because
progressive in what way?
Magneto was right. No, no pushback.
Uh, uh, I mean, that was. I mean, essentially, that was a metaphor. You know, Charles Xavier was supposed to be, Martin Luther King, and he was supposed to be Malcolm X in that metaphor.
Yeah, sure, that
So,
was definitely civil rights, but it's also could be seen as a metaphor between America and the Soviet Union, for sure. But
So what
yeah,
was Magneto right about?
that you cannot go through life unprepared as a pacifist. You have to be prepared to defend yourself because the world will eat you.
Well, that's true.
It's very true. Whereas Charles had this aloof and dreamy opinion that we can all get along, a la Martin
Well,
Luther King. Of course, the difference between Martin Luther King and Charles Xavier is Charles was a pretty solid human.
I was going to say all the affairs, but
Oh, Martin Luther King was an absolute monster, dude. He was a horrible
Really.
person when it came to women. I mean, it's not just affairs. We're talking rape and abuse and all kind of bad shit. Martin Luther King was a bad dude. He was not a good dude. He wasn't. He's a good speaker. He had some good sentiments. Well, sure.
well,
But I mean, honestly, Malcolm X was a far more honest, straightforward dude, which is why Farrakhan had him taken out. Of course, he had them both taken out, to be fair with you, is
well,
what it
yeah,
seems these days. But
but
Malcolm X was a far more, militant, at least in his early life, but he was more honest.
well, I can at least I think we can at least agree on one point that Magneto probably would have had an easier time had he not called his organization, specifically called it evil.
Oh, the
You know,
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Yeah,
yeah.
well, we're gonna throw that up to comic booky.
I'm just saying, it's like,
Yeah, no, no.
like you're kind of just sticking yourself in a
Well,
box there.
the problem with
It's like,
Stan Lee, love him, love him. Live in eternal utopian peace, sir. But the trouble with Stan is he had these lofty ideas. He's coming from a generation of real men, right? War and all that kind of stuff. Him and Kirby and all that, and all the other guys. But he had these philosophical understandings. He was clearly very well read, but he also fell into got to be successful with the kids book, you see.
yeah,
And that's so those things tend to rub against each other, and it's fine, but because I really appreciate what Stan gave us, and that's something I wish more people would emulate. That is a life spent pursuing a dream. Stanley. Perfect example. He went out there and get it done. He didn't sit there and whine and whinge about things not going his way. He went and did it himself. He made it work, right? And I respect that. Now he did. It did turn out to be immensely successful, but the concept itself is enough, I think. But Stan Lee was quite an impressive man. Spent an entire life pursuing the success of his creation. That's pretty neat, dude.
indeed.
What I'm
So
trying to do with my game.
Yeah, well, you got to get out there and have your voice heard. You got to get in the street. You got to knock on doors. You got to follow. Go read about Stan. Go look at his life, what he did. That dude, there's not enough hours in the day for that guy. I mean, he was out on the pounded pavement every single solitary day. Anyone who would listen to him, he would spout the miracle that was Marvel. This guy was on any media, any radio, anything that would possibly get him heard by a single person. He was out there literally shaking the trees to get attention. And boy, did it work. Boy, did it pay off. But the people completely misunderstand the hard work Stan Lee put in. I mean, how many years, decades of pursuit he put into promoting the name Marvel. And thank God they changed that name. Imagine going around and having to promote, well, I come from Timely Comics. Oh, that would suck, dude.
yeah. So Chester,
Mm.
before we went live, you said we have a plan for tonight. I know we've been kind of all over the
Well, there's
place.
there's just a few of us here, but I will go through that because like I said, I am in the middle of a typhoon and my screen keeps flickering and stuff.
Oh,
I'm living dangerously GOP. Okay.
got
Anyway,
those
uh,
sunglasses on. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So let me go ahead and go ahead, mock me. You do it all you like. Let me go
What
ahead and
else are we gonna do?
we're gonna bring this up, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay. So we'll prepare. I don't know. Now next week I won't be here. There will be no show next week. I have family coming in. It's Obone, and I'm rebuilding my computer. So all of that shit takes time, particularly rebuilding computer because I have to literally build it. Hopefully I can build inside this case. I'll find out. Excuse me, here on Friday, and but literally can build in the case. If I can't, I'll have to buy another case. But either way, I got to build everything, and then I got to go deal with all the BIOS, and I got to download everything, reset it. Oh, it's a pain in the ass. You guys have computers, don't you?
Yes,
That's
that's what I'm
what I'm
on right
using
now.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, some people use phones, right? So you understand the pain in the ass of getting a new computer.
Yes.
Yes. Do you guys build your computers or do you just go
No,
buy completed sets?
I usually
Mine
build
was
it online.
built. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I come from the age where when I first started getting computers, they came in a box. You had to build them anyway. I mean, it's kind of normal from my point of view. So I bought a couple of them just off the shelf, but in general, I always build my own, which is fun. It's actually a lot of fun. If you guys have never built a computer, I suggest you try. There are tutorials all over the internet. You can go watch, and for these modern ones, I have looked at tutorials just to make sure that I'm not too far out of touch. But It doesn't look like it changed. Actually, it looks easier. Last time I did it, from the last time I did it. But I'm telling you, as an American, particularly, I know you're going through inflation and there's pains with many other things, but not in the computer world. Computer parts are cheap as shit right now, dude. Super cheap.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, at
There
this
was a
moment.
there was a point not that long ago where that wasn't the story,
No,
but
you're
yeah.
right. You're right. Now GPU is still a little bit insane, but you can save so much money on other things. You can put a little bit more money toward a GPU. By the way, if you care, but if you do go build a computer, and I challenge you, just go build a little $500 computer. Go try, right? But don't go with a 30 series NVIDIA. Don't go with this current gen for this 40 series gen. Don't go with that. Go with the 30 series. They're way better. Um, I'm still rocking a 1080 Ti here in this computer, and it kicks ass. And if you look at benchmarks on this GPU, it's still middle of the road. How crazy that is, dude! That's 6 years, 7 years ago, and it's still middle of the road. But I am going to be updating. I'd probably go with I'm going to go with a 30 series. I was thinking about going changing to an AMD system. I don't know, but nevertheless, other than that, everything else is dirt cheap. Go build a computer. Try. Just buy the parts. There's only like 8 parts you need aside from peripherals. But if you have a computer already, you already have the peripherals. So
Well,
just you
yeah.
know,
I had my this current one. My nephew basically put it together. I helped him, but you know, I helped him out and I paid for it. But there's still like stuff that I couldn't like name exactly what I have in here. I have to look. You know.
no, that's okay though. I mean, just do your research, right? But putting it
Yeah.
together wasn't very hard, right?
No.
No,
It
it's
was
really not. The
yeah.
hardest part is putting the heat glue on the top of the CPU, right? The paste to mount your cooler to. That's the hardest part. Other than that, it's plug and play, man. It's so much easier than it used to be. We used to have to solder and shit. You don't have to do that anymore. It's literally plug and play. But you don't need many things, guys. You need a case. You can get cases like for $50. Seriously, solid case that'll do everything you need it to do. $50, right? You need that. You need a motherboard. Now you can spend hundreds of dollars on a motherboard, but you can also get like a Z690 or a Z790 board from anyone. MSI, Asus, those are usually pretty solid. You could pick them up for under $200, right? Seriously, and they're killer boards. You get yourself CPU. You don't need if you're depending on what you're doing, you don't need like an i9 Don't get an i9 unless you're like rendering in Blender or something. I mean, Jesus, if you can get with this generation, you can get away with an i5 and game the hell out of it, dude. Right? So get yourself CPU, get yourself some RAM, cheap. My God, dude, you could pick up 32 gigabytes of RAM right now, solid state, good quality RAM for like 130, 140 bucks, dude.
That's what I got
Jesus.
in my current setup.
No, it's insane, right? And then you need to have so you got your RAM, you need to have your storage. You could still get a disk drive, the mechanical ones, but you can get 8 terabytes. That's what I'm going to do. But that's a long-term storage, guys. But everything else, just go M.2 SSD. Third generation, fourth generation, if you can get it. You don't really need fifth generation. The percentage increases are very minor. But minimum third generation, which are once again dirt cheap. You can other than long term storage with the hard disk, you can have two. You can spend more. I wouldn't spend it, but you can have 2 terabytes of memory on your boot drive. What? Like get a fourth, if you can only find or afford one fourth generation SDI, M.2, get a 2 terabyte and use that as your boot drive, your C drive.
I have a C
Whoa.
drive right now that's I think 2 terabytes
Yeah, but
or
is it
1.5
SSD or is it mechanical drive?
SSD.
Yeah, dude, smoking fast. And if you get like say, you have 2 or 4, depending on the of course more expensive motherboard, but you can find motherboards these days that got 2 or 3 for real cheap. But if you're only running 2 SSD, just make sure when you put them into the motherboard that keep them far apart. So you might have 3 or 4 slots. Use one that's not next to your GPU. Use one under that, and then skip it and go to another bottom one.
Oh,
But
I
fourth,
think the one I have it just through I just plug it in externally
oh well, you can do that too. You can do that as well. But you can put it right on
because
the
I'm a
motherboard these
plebeian.
days. And it works. It's just lightning fast. Your game's going to run really quick. And then what else you need? A power supply, and you could pick up. It depends on what you're running for your CPU and GPU, but you can pick up 600 watts. I saw them for like freaking $70, and they have a rating system on those. Just make sure you get at least a bronze level, right? But if you can get 1,000 or 1,200 watt, which are a little bit more expensive. But if you've saved so much money on other stuff, go ahead and get it because that's going to future proof you for a while, right? And then you need to get a GPU. And like I said, you can get some AMD or stuff for pretty cheap. You don't need this top end shit. You don't need it unless all you care about is ray tracing. I mean, honestly, just shut that shit off, dude, and you're good, right? All these games people are playing talk about the ray tracing. All I do is just shut it off, and my 1080 Ti runs it, no problem, right? So I'm just saying that's all you need for a computer, guys. And of course, a monitor and all the peripherals. But if you have a computer, you probably already got those, and I'm sure they're good enough. It's really easy to build a computer these days. You don't need any other nonsense. You need some fans, but usually their case and the hard drive and all. I mean, it's going to be the CPU and all that stuff will come with it. You can buy fancy RBG if you'd like. I mean, sure, go ahead. Make it bling bling neon in your house. Go ahead. But it doesn't take much. And I really would, especially in this moment in time, if you've never built a computer before, go to the damn store, talk to the people, buy the parts, build one. It's super cheap, and you would absolutely love the experience.
All right.
And you just did. You built one with your nephew. I'm sure it was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. It is fun to do. And you feel a sense of accomplishment. And the good thing, because you have to go do your research, right? After you do your research and go buy the parts you want and you put it together and everything's working, the BIOS part after getting everything loaded and stuff, it's not that hard. Just watch a tutorial. It's really not hard. Um, but boy, do you feel a sense of accomplishment, a sense of ownership, and more importantly, you know what and where everything is. It's pretty handy. You feel much more
True.
confident in a computer. How many people own a computer and have no idea what the hell they're looking at? Well,
Probably
seriously,
most of them.
most people.
Yeah.
In that simple little process, you could just take a couple of months out of your life and free time and just do some research and check it out and put it together. And boy, what a adventure you'd go on by doing that. Anyway, what are
What
we doing?
changes?
I don't know what
Uh,
we're doing. We're just
I
talking
don't
about
know.
computers.
Well, I was bringing up the point. All right, so I'm not going to do the little session zero stuff I had prepared because we don't have session zero people here. But I am prepared. So that's what I was saying. Yeah. So next week I'm not here because I'm busy doing all that. So I will be back in 2 weeks, and I guess we will start the Marvel game. I guess
Is that what we're doing then,
is that
or
what that's what he told me we were doing.
I think so. I
Yeah,
mean,
okay. So 2 weeks, we'll kick off session zero next time. We're going to have fun. When I was doing the all the preparation, the presentation slide preparation, and all the writing and all the stuff I was doing, I actually was having a great time. You guys are going to get a kick out of it. It's funny.
I like funny?
I like funny. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But anyway, let's get past that. I was going to save the reveal. Um, I will. No, I've already put it in the title. So I will.
Wait, what did you make the title? I didn't see.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'll just go ahead and show it. So here we go. Where's my thingy? Well, here it is. Okay.
that's the title.
This is what the campaign or name is going to be, Omni Hero. And of course, we'll explain what that all means later. Let's go through and just kind of show you guys the character creation setup. Now, we're going to be playing, as per request, we're going to be playing Marvel's superhero role playing game from the 80s, early 80s. And it was in many people's warm-hearted, nostalgic feelings, one of the best systems ever made. And I do believe that. Personally, but we'll see as it goes by what you guys think. I have modified it quite a bit over time because it did have some. I wasn't lacking at the moment, but compared to modern role playing, it needed a little bit of facelift. So I've given it that. But here's the character creation setup, which I'm sure GOP is recording and will be a crazy little min maxer. Very nice.
Well, my current character, well, the character I'm making, I've already told you about it.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't know how much min maxing I'll be able to do, and I already have a character stuff in mind.
Yeah.
But
Well, I have. I'm not going to use the word capably understood, but childlikely understood AI art creation. How about that? I'll go with
I
that.
can help you.
Uh,
okay,
yeah, well, I've been banging on it, and I initially started with your Wombo Dream, which is super
Mhm.
easy. And if you guys want to try it out, I'd go do that because it's super easy. But I moved over to full on stable diffusion now. I'm in open art right now, and learning all of the little things. And wait till you see some of the art I've prepared
Wait,
already.
what's
have you?
unstable diffusion?
That's the mother of AI art, dude. Wombo is using a very stilted and a simplified version of it, which is awesome because the thing about Wombo Dream is anybody can go give it a try. It's wonderful.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, go do it. Please go do it.
I've done unstable diffusion. It's
Well, unstable
I mean,
diffusion is a offshoot of stable diffusion, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm using Stable Diffusion. Their open
oh
art
stable.
page. No, it's serious shit, dude. It's very serious, and I'm starting to unravel it. 'Cause it's one of those things you keep trying this, and you just so fuck it, and you just press a button, and then it happens like, oh, that's what that does. It's one of those type of learning experiences.
Have you checked out any of the text to video stuff?
No, well, I have seen some of it, but I haven't tried it. Right now, I'm trying to little baby steps, baby steps.
Mm.
But
Stable diffusion doesn't work for me. It brings it to a blank screen.
That's because
Oh
you got to go to
no.
OpenArt. Yeah, you don't go to Stable Diffusion. Don't do that. Here, I'll
I
help
mean,
you out.
Well,
I
Let me
would try Mid Journey, but it's so
It's expensive. And
yeah.
it's indirect. Don't just go right to just go right to the source. It's called OpenArt. OpenArt.ai/discovery. Now, keep in mind, OpenArt is a part of kind of somewhat connected to the Huggy Face people, who are the
wait,
ones that are
open
making
art,
this
what?
happen. And the this is also I believe part of the NVIDIA Omniverse system AI system setup. Because that's something a lot of people might not understand. NVIDIA, sure, they make gaming cards, but they're the ones leading the way in AI in general, especially making systems that AI will become world dominating on. Right, Nvidia is the ones who do that. But this right here, OpenArt, this is your stable diffusion package in a pro setting, Puffin. Like I said, I'm still stumbling through it, but I am learning at a quick pace too. So, it's just you got to put your nose down and get it done. It's one of those things. But and I who knows what I'll song before I master it. But for instance, I did just show a piece of art. I did believe for a second, didn't I? Where's my
Oh, on the Omni hero thing.
yeah? Where am I? Where am I here?
I don't know.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, here. With art that you can create like this, it's pretty badass, dude. And I got a bunch of
Yeah.
art here before. I'm not going to show it because it's part of my
Is it
opening session 0 presentation. But dude, all of the shit when you see in 2 weeks what I drop in my opening intro, dude, because
is it neat?
it's super neat. Because you know what I learned? Because I was using Wombo, and
Uh-huh,
and it's no problem. Like I said, I think it's awesome. Go use it, right? And if it inspires
uh-huh.
you, go deeper. But the problem with Wombo is it's super convenient, but I couldn't really get, like, say I made something I wanted. I was like, okay, I like this creation, right?
Mhm,
Like like her, and
mhm.
like, okay, that's cool. But now I would love to have multiple versions of her in different positions. That's more difficult, and you know it is because
Yes.
I saw you try to do it. However, open art or stable diffusion in and of itself, um,
Were you gonna send me that link?
it's just type in openart.ai.
OpenArt.ai.
Yeah, it's here. I'll grab the link and throw it over. Where am I here?
OpenArt.ai.
Here.
Um,
Dot discuss here. I'll just throw the link in the. I'll just throw the link in the
and
Discord.
how are the rights work? Like, could I sell things that
I
make
I
canvas?
doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, no. Yeah, I didn't even look into that because that's not what I'm after. But I doubt it. Seriously, doubt it. Yeah. So it probably for you, it's not necessarily the best idea. But for me, because I can get a picture that I like, and I don't even bother with Wombo anymore. I just do it all on OpenArt. I could use Wombo, and because that doesn't have credits to it, so I could just keep producing like, oh, here's one I like, and then I could take it over and I can create variations. I can enhance faces. I can do all kind of stuff to that. So now, and you'll see when I do my presentation in 2 weeks, that you can take the same person and you can have them with different hand positions. They could be standing, running. You can do all kind of things, and therefore it gives you access to real storytelling with art, dude. GOP.
Hmm.
It's awesome, dude. You'll see. You wait because I'm getting better and better at it, dude. I'm getting better and better at it. And as this campaign goes by, who knows how good I'll get at it, right? So we'll see. Or I could just and ultimately suck. I don't think so, though. It seems to be something that is tiered very, very positively in my direction. seeing as it's dealing with language. And and your prompting needs to have things in it about talking about what position on the screen, what lighting direction you want, what kind of image are you looking for? Are you looking for some kind of promo art, some studio stuff, CCT, TV, or you can put in all this kind of language and really construct an image you want. And like I said, I'm in a very nascent. That seems to be my word of the day. Anyway,
Yeah.
let me do this. Okay. So Omni Hero character creation. This is based on Marvel superhero role playing, but I have modified it. So when you make your character, guys, this is what you're going to do. Origin. You're going to be either Omni, Tech, or Magic. It doesn't matter when it comes to character creation. It only matters in game, and obviously it matters. But all of them, I'm just going with the altered human out of the Marvel superhero, and you get +1 any prime, your choice. Right? Okay.
Okay.
Form. You are either a human, a myth, or a chimera, and I will explain those later. But you'll see it's pretty simple to understand. You're going to roll not 7. I'm not. I've added 1 to the face rip. I've added empathy, which I'll get to in a minute. But you roll 8 times
Hello.
on chart 1. So
Hey,
lowest you.
Tower.
Hey,
It's a
tower.
tower.
So you got to roll 8 times on chart 1 there. And you got to record those things. So everything has a name associated with it, and the name is very important in this game. And then there's a number, and that number is going to apply mostly to damage at first. But that number is also where you put your experience points. This is how, in those 8 things, how you really level up. In this game, it's more about leveling up your actual stat than it is leveling up anything else. And once you get to a certain threshold, like say you have as you see on chart 1 here, let's say you have a typical, which is normal, typical, average human, right? Let's say you have yourself a typical agility or grace is what I call it. But you want to improve. Well, when you get to an 8, you will, or I don't even think it's 8. I think it's like 7 or something like that. Which I have the information. No, I think it is 8. When you level yourself up to an 8, boom, you're in the good category, which is how you roll, and I can show that to you real quick. Let me bring this back up. Yeah, what we do in this game is you use this chart here, and I put it on the dice already. So it's on the dice page, so it'll be there in front of you, but we'll also have these available. But this right here is the entire game right in front of you, right? This is a percentile based game. You're using, and you're going to be rolling, and you have a stat. Like, for instance, we were talking about that typical grace or agility, right? So let's say you're trying to dodge an explosion, right? Then you would roll your typical agility. And to succeed, because we're doing an evade, right? Where is it here? Up here at the top, you see there's invade. It's right here, right? So you need a green to invade. And then a yellow and a red success will give you column shifts to the reduction of damage, because that's what evasion is going to do. It's going to reduce damage. But so in this case, you would need to roll a 51%, 51 or more on your dice in order to not be affected, right? If you my mouse is being weird. If you roll an 81, you can get that yellow and less damage. And then, of course, if you rolled a 98, you would be in the red category. Everything up top: blunt attacks, edge, shooting, energy, force, etc., etc. All the various things you can do are up here. There are some special maneuvers you can do, like charging and ground strike if you have super strength, or there's some things like that. But in general, these are all your actions you could take up top, and this shows you your color, what your color success gives you. Right? It's very simple, but it's really fun. Therefore, the higher your ability classification, not the number, the higher the number classification, therefore name, the better you are at things. So when you're using karma to level up, you're trying to raise those numbers into the new category. Like for instance, if you look at good, to go from a good to an excellent category, you need to have 16 points. So you have to progress your experience in those abilities to get into the new category. Well, that's how it works. But anyway, let me come over and get back to that. So you roll 8 times on this chart, save those numbers, and then you come over to chart 2, and you roll once on each of these, right? This is going to give you the number of abilities or powers that you have access to, and the number of starting skills. Skills don't have limitations. I mean, it costs experience, karma to raise them, but to get new ones. But this is what you start with, and the abilities here are, as you can see, there's a number in front and there's a number after. The number after is your core threshold. So this is the maximum number of powers you can have in the life of the character, unless we go on some kind of campaign thing to increase your core. And the one in front is the number you start with. This is an asymmetrical game. Do you understand that?
What is the context of asymmetrical?
Is GOP still here?
I'm still here. Sorry, my mic is yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Asymmetrical meaning not equal. Not like all the modern games, which everyone has be identical and equal and the same. What's fun in that? This is asymmetrical. You could end up with a weaker character than the rest of the party. You could. And oh well, you're going with it. That's how the old gaming was, and I think it's far more enjoyable, actually. So it's asymmetrical. You guys aren't going to necessarily be equal in power, per se.
As long as I am the most powerful.
Well, I have limited it to a point. In the original game, you could be an alien or something. You're going to absolutely kick everyone else's ass, right? But I have
Ooh, I
limited
can
it
be a
to a
Saiyan.
point, but it is asymmetrical. What do you say?
I can be a Saiyan.
No, you can't. Yeah, you're not in
Uh,
this game. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
So anyway, and then chart 3 is a new thing I've added to the game, GOP, and this is under this extra heading here. You get 3 build points, and you can earn build points in game at various instances as well. But a build point is very, very simple. You spend a single build point, and you can roll on chart 3, and that will be added. The column shifts will be added to the ability. It's very, very simple. So it's anywhere from a +1 to +2. So say you have a typical grace, your agility. If you rolled and you get a +2, well then you would go from a typical to a good to excellent category, right? And that's pretty good. That's like Captain America level, like a
yeah.
gymnast level. It's pretty good, right? So and you get 3 of those. You can also spend one of those build points to gain +2 skills, or you
Oh,
can
really?
gain a new ability within your core threshold, right? Like I said, the threshold is on the left-hand side of abilities. But we'll do all this next time. But then we have more information here. The eight abilities are tactics, which in the original game was originally was fighting, agility, strength, endurance, reason, intuition, and psyche. I've changed them to be more practical. Tactics, grace, muscle, fitness, logic, empathy, wisdom, and will. Because I've done some other things, but that they have to combine. But anyway, you put whatever the category and the associated number in each one of these, right? And then we will get our combined ability stats here. All your column shifts you gain from spending build points or from your +1 prime that you get as during character creation. And then what you do is you take your tactics, grace, muscle, fitness, and you add those together, and that becomes your body. Logic, empathy, wisdom, and will together and get your mind. Fitness and will are being added together to create your spirit. you can have up to 2 weaknesses. You don't have to take it if you don't want. They have to be significant though. I have to approve them. You can't have I get sniffly around dogs. No, no. You have to have a serious weakness. But if you for each one of those you do take, you get another build point. So you can build a pretty powerful character from the start if you want to. Wealth is given by me, but it's going to be starting at a good level or excellent level, I think. Let's see, speed. Oh yeah, your speed is your initiative. So you take your body and mind, and you divide that by 10, and this is your initial initiative, and then of course there are skills that can add up on that. So and then what else did I have here? Yeah, I just got explaining karma on how to spend it, what class and pop are. But it'd probably be easier in this situation just because we're not building. So, and then I give grades and of course Omnicorp International. But let me just show you a character here. So I put together this character sheet, and it has everything you need on it. Now, what you have here is a level 1 character, just like you guys. You can see up in the upper left-hand corner, it has C1, so class 1. It's starting character. She's a Delta, which I'll explain more next time. It doesn't really matter. You guys would probably be Deltas too. But all you have here in this information is you have her code name, her AKA, her origin. She's an Omni. Her form is human. And her name, her wealth is actually should be an excellent. I have to up that. Then you have your abilities here, how many you have, and how many is your max core, because you can't go over your core, right? How many skills are currently in play, and then your spirit. Now, what I've done differently in the game than most Marvel players would recognize is I've removed karma in the play mechanism. I've made it completely experience. I still call it karma though, but instead, what I've done is taken your fitness and your will, you add them together, and this gives you a spirit. And
Welcome back, Tower.
hey, Tower.
You've been muted this whole time, by the way. If you don't notice. Yeah.
But the what the spirit does is what karma did in the original game. And every session you get your empathy back. Excuse me, every day you get your empathy back in spirit. So it does regenerate, right? Whereas in the original game, you had to make a decision: do I take and use my karma to level my character up, or do I use it to put in spirit? Because what you could do with spirit is when you're rolling the dice, you can say, I really need to get a yellow on this, or I really need to get a red. And you say, okay, I'm going to use my spirit. You roll the dice, and then you add whatever you need to get what you're going after. Now, this could be great. You could get lucky and roll the dice and be 3 off and only spend 3 spirit, or you could be going for red because you really need it, and you're in this case with this character Zephyr, you're literally 40 points off the roll you needed. All your spirit's gone. You get nothing. But that's how spirit works. You can use it in game to buff your rolls. And I've made a change. I think it's more accurate. But anyway, you get all your things in this game. You're pretty much just rolling off of these 8 things. Now, some of your skills will buff them. For instance, here with her, with detective and electronics, she gets +1 CS, which simply means a column shift. So if we come up and look at her, she has a typical logic. She's not super smart. She's quite average. But when she's doing detective or electronic things, she's a good. So she rolls underneath the good category once again, right here. Right? That's how it works. The number is what is applied to damage if, say, it's your strength or power rank or something like that. But in general, we're just trying to get this number to roll over to the next category. That's what you're trying to do. But you see with this guy, this is another character. And what he has here is he has Karate A. Now, what that means is SNS simply means stun and slam. So if you have a certain type of martial art, you can take it whatever you want. And you have A, and there I think there's all the way up to J or K or something like that, the different ones you can get. But A particularly is really useful because he can stun and slam or knock down people of higher endurance than his strength. Now he's pretty strong. I mean, he can literally move 10 tons. right? 8 to 10 tons. He's on the lower end, so he's probably more 8 tons. So he's a very strong guy. But say he's going up against someone with a 50 rank or an amazing rank endurance. He wouldn't be able to slam or stun them, but now he can because he has this ability. He also has a hammer specialization in it. You see, he's got 3 skills, but only 2 listed because that's cost 2 to use that one. And this gives him +2 to column shift to tactics, so he goes up to amazing, which by the way is Captain America's level, natural level, for a reference, and he gets +1 to initiative or speed as well with his hammer. He's got his gear, he's got his contacts, and his ability. He's basically got armor. His body is tough. So every bit of physical damage he takes, he minuses 26 from it. And every bit of energy attack he gets against, he minuses 16 from the damage. So it's very self-explanatory. Over here on the other side, like I said, up top, he's got his class, and as you go up in class, you do get bonuses. He's also his overall power ranking, which is his body, his mind, and all his power points added together to create a ranking category. He's a delta. And like I said, you guys would probably be deltas as well. Karma is experience. Pop is how people initially perceive you. And that is based on your empathy plus other things you get as your character's going up in level. And speed is your initiative. Roll a d10, add this number. So, did any questions?
Will this be on the test?
Yes.
I'll definitely have to rewatch this, to get all the adjustments. But beyond that, I'm gonna
I'll go
definitely
through more slowly when next time.
I joined a little late on accident.
It's
No,
okay.
that's
We
okay.
spent about the first hour talking about random stuff. So
Politics, mainly politics.
yeah. So you came in at
Missed
the right time.
nothing. But anyway, so it's really really simple, and therefore, let's give me an example. Let's say she's more of a distance support. Let's go with him. He's very straightforward. Cars off. I wonder if he's Russian. He could be. But anyway, let me bring up the dice. And see, I think it's here. Yeah, it's here.
If Shabby was a superhero.
Yeah, is that all right? Right. All right, let me bring the dice up and let me bring them over the other side and I'll demonstrate here. All right, here we go. Boy Scouts. We don't need you, Boy Scouts. Go away, Boy Scouts. All right, now you guys probably can't see it, so let me. Well, you can see it because you can look at the dice. So I don't need to show everybody. It's better if I just do it like this. Okay, so you guys can see it. Yeah. Well, let me do this, and let me bring the dice up so I can show that to the peoples.
Oh,
okay.
Put the background on the dice.
I did. Okay. I thought it would be useful. All right. Yeah. So let's see here now. You guys can see that. I don't have to show everybody. You guys look at that, and I'll go ahead and I'll show our cards off. All right. So let's say that Karzov has been called to a scene. A radio dispatch has come in, and Karzov needs to go and deal with a problem. So GOP, be Karzov. You're going to be Karzov.
Okay.
So be a good Russian. He's an Americanized Russian, but Mother Russia is still very important. Okay, but nevertheless, he has worked for Omnicore, as most superpower people do, because of various regulations and et cetera, et cetera. But he's got his license. He's been called in, ready to dispatch. He's been patrolling, and he rushes over to a dark alley in the middle of the day, which is not a good sign. And he's going to deal with the threat. So, Karzov, you're standing at the front of the alleyway, and you see there are some absolute American scumbags. They're degenerates. They are beating an old woman's to steal her purse. Cars off. Into action.
How dare you?
Thank
I
you.
Russian. It's a Russian.
It is a Russian.
Grab
It
a
was
stick
perfect.
and I help
It was
them.
perfect. It was Russian. All right, so you got to go beat them up now. Because you're in the same alleyway in this game, it deals with range a little bit different. We have what we have is called areas, and an area is anything that is as close as within hand reach or within a single round movement. So think of your standard D&D, you can move 30, 60 feet, somewhere in that range. Anything in that is an area, almost like say a city block. If the building's in the way, that obviously is going to be a problem. So an area is amorphous, right? But in general, if it's something within touching range, meaning you can get to them, as in this situation, it's considered the same area. So therefore, you can move into combat initially. You don't have to take time moving toward it. You're already here. So combat will begin. So the first thing we need to do, cars off, is you need to roll initiative against my guys. Now, my guys, they are not the average thug. These guys are super powered, but they're not a delta. They're an epsilon level for sure. But there are 3 of them. It took 3 to beat up the old lady. So
Wow.
as it
Wow,
is.
what level's that old lady?
Old lady's
Yeah,
badass.
she could probably handle him herself.
She probably can.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna roll my dice. You can just go roll a single 10-sider here.
Right?
Okay. Oh, what am I doing here? Let me see.
probably
Add
trying
all.
not to
Yeah.
get your ass beat by that old lady.
Probably. Yeah, okay. So he rolled a 9. Now you're going to add that 13 there because car's off speed. And he's using the hammer, so he gets it to the full 13. So that's a 22. Now my guys are their speed is not as good. They have themselves a 7. Okay, so I'm going to add 7 to whatever this is. So I'm just going to do it right here in the roll, and here I go. Okay, and even though I rolled excellently, I can't beat you. You were just faster, but you are the hero. So you're going to go first. Now, there's 3 targets. These 3 targets, they're all wearing the
Baklava.
the
Yeah.
baklavas, and they all have truncheons, as you do, being a baklavad villain stealing old ladies' purses. And they see you and they kick the lady once for extra measure. So you only have to deal with 2 of them because one of them decided he's going to show how tough he was by kicking grandma. And the other 2 are going to come and deal with you, GOP. They're going to deal with you. But you go first because, you're awesome. So what you're going to want to do is pop them. So if you take a look at your character here, there are all kinds of little things, and I'll teach those as we go along, that you can do with special abilities. But right now, the 2 things that you can do is either swing with your hammer, which you're very good, but you can only hit one of them. Right? You could do a charge, which honestly, your hammer's better than the charge. So I wouldn't waste my time with it. And you don't have enough distance to do a charge either. Or you could try a multi-attack. Now, a multi-attack in this situation with hammer would be a cleave-esque attack, right? So it would be a single die roll. And what that and it's very simple. You can try multi-attack. Anybody can. But the problem is that it's -4 column shifts to your ability. Now, your tactics is a remarkable. You can see here it's a category of remarkable. But you have a hammer specialty, so you get a +2, so that brings you up to amazing. So if we go to our chart and we see the amazing category, if we -4 from this, 1, 2, 3, 4, it puts you under a good. So it's not great, but it's possible. So if you wanted, you could try to cleave and hit both of them. You need a 46 or higher. Or you could just concentrate on one and pretty much you're going to hit him, right? I mean, you got a 75% chance of hitting him. So what would you like to do? You want to try a great swing and hit two of the guys at the same time, or would you like just to concentrate on one dude?
You know, I mean, first impressions are important, and I think I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna give one guy a really good smack. I'm
Okay.
gonna try
All right.
try and get that.
So then what you're going to do is you're going to roll your dice. And the percentile dice, now in this game, we're looking at simply column shifts. We don't, it happens, but most of the time you're not adding anything at all to this roll. It's just the category you roll under. So as you see this chart in front of you, go ahead and roll your dice, and you need to get at least a 26. So let me come over to it here real
I
quick.
got a 96.
You got a 96. So let's see what 96 gives us here. Let's clean this up real quick.
Under
And if we look under
amazing.
amazing, we come down to 96. We can
That's a
see
red.
that is a red. Why is this being weird on me? That's all right. I'll bring the other one up so we can see it more clearly here. Yeah, I'll bring this up so you can see it more clearly. So he rolled a 96 under the amazing category. That comes all the way down to here, and that is indeed a red. So he's swinging this kind of like truncheon hammer. It's not this big Thor hammer. It's actually a bit more like a mace head, but it's still considered a hammer. So if we look up top and we're going to find what category would that fall under? Well, it's certainly not energy. It's certainly not thrown. Oh, well,
But if
here it is, blunt.
assume it's blunts, yeah.
It's blunt attack, right? So we look. He got a blunt attack and he got a red. Well, he got a stun. Now in this game, not always, but often you get everything under it as well, right? So not only does he have a stun, he also got a slam and he also hit, of course. So let's deal with our bad guys, slam and then stun. So if you could do me a favor and go ahead and roll the dice again.
Another D100.
Yes, please. Tell me what you
All
get.
right. Oh, that's a whopping 7.
Okay, perfect. Now this would be under their endurance, or their stat to resist this, and I'm sure these guys are probably a good. So that's definitely well within the white. So what does that say? Grand slam. This guy goes flying through the alley, across the street beyond, because you do have an incredible level strength, and disappears through crashing through a broken window into some office building. So he has been greatly slammed. Now, I might be exaggerating that. I don't think so, though. I'd have to go check that strength, see if he could hit that far. But for cinematic reasons, you've knocked him out of the alley across the street into a second floor window of the building across the street. So, yeah, he's probably out of it. But let's roll his stun next. Go ahead.
Okay. 70.
70, and that's much better. That right there is a green. So he's minimally stunned for 1 round. You see up here in stun, it says 1, so that's 1 round. If it was a failure, he'd be 1. You have to roll a 10-sider, and it's 1 to 10 rounds. He would be out. Yellow and red, you're not stunned. It's very simple, but he also takes your damage. Now, if we bring up Karzov here, we will see that his damage with his hammer is his strength, which is his muscle, which is incredible. But it gets 1 column shift up because it's a held weapon made of a material strength stronger than his muscle. Okay, so therefore he gets to add +1. So that incredible becomes an amazing, but it basically effectively adds 10 points. So his 36 is now 46. He did 46 points of damage to the guy, assuming the guy didn't have a flak jacket or something to reduce damage. He's probably, being a minion, he's probably either out or very close to it, right? And then combat would continue. He'd get his strike against you. Your Karzov here has a 26 body armor, so it's unlikely the minion would even be able to hurt him. Okay. So, and that's how combat works. It's very, very simple, but it's very dynamic. It's very fast. It's a lot of fun. It handles superpowers better than anything since, which is interesting because superpowers don't like playing friendly with gaming systems. Have you guys noticed that? They just don't work.
Because they're so varied, or
I think. But this game just, trust me, I played, I don't even know how many hours of this game when I was a kid. Um, it just, this system handles superhero powers better than anybody. And it's weird because it's like really the first attempt. I don't know if this or Champions came out first, but they were a very similar time. And I think GURPS and Champions, they were fine, but this system handles superheroes really, really well. You can use it for anything and it works fine, but honestly, I'd reuse Cypher or Cortex or something like that for those, to be honest with you. But superheroes, man, this is the way to go. And look how beautiful and color. Look at this beautiful gaming card I created. Look at it. It's gorgeous, and it's plenty. It's got all the information you need. You get your badge up top, which gives us our class, which is important, and your overall ranking, which of course is also important. You do get bonuses as you go up. You got your experience over here. You got your pop, which comes into play, and you have, of course, your initiative right here. Easy to see, looks good, and then we have all the vital information. You could go and create a character sheet and have your height and your age and your ethnicity, and you can have a complete background, which I do encourage, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can do all that, but honestly, this right here is all you need. It's pretty good. What do you think?
I like it.
Mm, yeah. So 2 weeks we're gonna get into that. Keep in mind that next week I can't be here because, like I already explained, I got all my whole family's coming in. Where we got Obon going in here, which is there's only 2 holidays in a year in Japan. And this is one of them. And we have a typhoon on top of us. Wonderful. And my son is also going to be announcing officially his engagement this weekend, so that's going to be good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm happy for him. And then, of course, I'm rebuilding my computer, which is going to take days. So I won't be here next week. But in 2 weeks, we're going to start this off. And I'll save this panel and I'll give it to you guys. I don't know if you can. I'll save it as a PDF. You should be able to interact with all my little things I've created here. Shouldn't you be able to?
I would think so.
Because I can't do it here, but in the I use WPS, so I can actually click on this, say this 96. I can click on it and change. Oh well, I can click on it and I can change the number in the present. I use presentation, and all of these things you can click on and you can change the numbers and you can add to it. These are all I really detailed it up. Matter of fact, let me drop out of this and let me show you. Let me bring this over. Oh goodness. Okay. Let me bring this over and let me come in here and capture that. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So I use, like I said, I use WPS. And you could use Microsoft Office. It's the same thing. This is really a clone of it. Let me get rid of this. Okay. And I can get rid of this as well to make it smaller. But everything here, you can, if I send it over to you, you should be able to use it. Because you click on it. Like, for instance, you could click right here, brings up text box, right? I've text boxed everything out separately, right? Each of these are separate text boxes. Even the titles up top are, right? Everything, even these down here are individually text boxed. Even your delta and your class is all separate. So yeah, I hope if I let me do that right now. I'll put it in the thing. How would I do that? How would I save just this one, just this panel? Maybe I click on it. Would that save the whole thing? I bet you it wouldn't. Huh. What do you guys think? How would I do it? Do I grab the whole page? Do I just do like this?
I don't know. I haven't tried messing with this before.
Oh, that wasn't good. Let me do it again. No, that didn't work either. Maybe I can just no. What am I doing wrong here? Is there something down
I'd
here?
have to. Yeah,
We can
I'd
dance
have
all we
to play with it
wanna.
for
We
me
can
to.
leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they can't dance, then they're no
Someone look at the
friends of mine.
chat. Maybe the chat knows. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, don't stop being stupid. All right, fine. Where is it here? Let's see here. Settings. Is this it? Yeah, select all. Okay. And then put it in group object. Right. And then I should be able to, nope. Someone better than me should be doing this.
I'd actually have to look through the program to figure it out because, like I said, I haven't tried
No,
that.
I
Wait, what are
know it
we?
can be done. Let's
Wait,
see.
what are we trying to do?
What about picture to PDF?
Where you see that? Where's that?
Go up a little bit to the right.
Top right next to the
Oh, here we
settings
go.
menu.
Okay. Did that do anything? Let me go check my desktop.
We can dance if we want to. We
Yeah, I
can
don't-
leave your friends behind.
No, let me check here.
Don't dance so they're no friends of mine.
No, it's not picture to PDF. It's not doing it. Oh, here we go. Picture to, oh, okay. Oh, it's taking all those pieces. So is that, that's probably, it says I can merge. It is merged. A4 convert. Okay. Oh, 7-day trial. Good idea, GOP. See, I know I've done this before, though. You know what I can do? I can just do this. I just didn't want to show you all my stuff. Save as, but that's all right. You guys are the players. I didn't want to show you the entire file. I just wonder if I can just save this particular panel template, you know? That's all right. I can save the whole thing, the whole project. So let's see, presentation file. You guys can use that, right? Or would you like me to put it in Microsoft?
Potato.
you can try with the former, and if it doesn't
Yeah, I'll
work,
just
we can
do
do
this.
the
Let's see here. OmniFit DPS, no problem. Save as data in this document may be changed in the current format. We recommend that you save it as it in the PPTX format. Okay, cool.
Although I would
Thank
almost
you.
recommend having us wait until all of our character stuff is like ready and having our our art done, and just
Oh,
having
you could do
like
that
maybe
too. Yeah, you could do that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, we can just get these together real quick, and you know we'll be
True.
you know that'll be
I'm
all
just
part
trying
of
to be
session 2,
helpful.
I know, and
I'm
I
trying to be
appreciate
helpful too.
No, you're not.
Okay. I guess GOP didn't tell you, did he?
I don't know where that went anyway. Screw it. All right. Done. All right. Anyway.
Screw it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. But anyway, let me go ahead and roll all this out. But yeah, you're right. Just I gave you the thing. and the thing you can look at live as far as the modifications to the system. But honestly, if you read the player's handbook, which is what 80 pages, it's a small book. It'll give you a good idea of how the system works, especially how to use the charge and the ground strikes and all those kind of little special abilities and such. And your character can either be an Omni, a tech, or a mage. And the player's handbook explains all three.
My
Basically,
character
the
is
Omni
definitely
is
going to
going to
be an
be
Omni.
mutants. Yeah, I would make him an Omni. That's the whole shtick of the game, anyway. Anyway, so 2 weeks, we'll be back. We'll do session 0. And I think you guys are gonna like it. It's super super fun, man. It's a lot. It's colorful, for color indeed, and it's going to be a little bit whimsical. We're going to do a full-on comic book role-playing game here this time. We're not going to get dark like in Umbral or serious space opera like we did in Imperius. We're going to have ourselves some 4-color comic fun. Sound good?
Oh yeah.
Excelsior.
Yeah, Excelsior, and I will make you like it, Puffin.
Alka
Oh.
Seltzer.
Oh, did he tell you that I'm not a big fan of superheroes?
That's all right.
Good.
Here's the thing that you can have fun with it, Puffin. In this game, you gain karma in various different ways. Karma is your experience. Like I said, I've modified it, but it's your experience
Yes.
points. Like for instance, he beat those thugs, right? And therefore, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and give it to him just for fun, meta fun. But what happens is when you defeat foes, you take their highest stat, whether it be, and for foes, I'm going to be setting things up a little bit differently, but it'll be very easy for us to gather that information. You take their highest statistic, and then you divide that by all members of the party. All right.
Oh.
So if you're, say, you got 4 people and you're fighting a guy that's got like an incredible, his highest ability is incredible. Well, that's divisible by 40 for experience points situation. So everybody gets 10. But say he's also got 5 little minions with him, and each of them, their highest ability is only 20, but there's 5 of them, right? So that's 100. Once again, everyone gets 25 points. So that's 35 points right there in a single combat. But you also can get it for simple little things like he just said Alka-Seltzer. I would have given him maybe, I don't know, that was pretty lame, but I give him 2 points.
Oh man, so I should have held on to that one.
You should have held on to that one. Yeah. Right. Should have held on to that one. But the thing is, if you quote in this kind of game, if you quote any superhero movie, I will give you karma, therefore experience points, based upon the level of cool.
And the obscurity of the film.
And the obscurity of the film. Absolutely.
I gotta go start watching a bunch of obscure superhero movies.
Yes,
I'll
you
be back,
should.
guys.
But you
Don't make
also
me
can,
angry.
like,
You
by
would
doing
like me
leadership
running.
things, using skills, interacting with the public. Yes, ma'am, I will save your cat. You get karma for all that kind of stuff. The only dangerous thing about karma in this game is, like I said, in
Is
the
it for
original
good?
one, you had to make a decision. Are you going to use karma to up your levels, or are you going to put it into your, what I'm calling spirit, that you can use in game? I never liked that mechanic. I think I think you should always be able to have karma at any situation, and you have a lot of players that are burned through their karma, and they can go an entire session without having any, right? So I created the spirit situation, so you always kind of have some. But you do get lots of karma, but the bad thing about it is you can also lose it, right? By doing something wrong or something evil or even failure in a certain situations. If your failure, which it wasn't, you didn't create the situation of the meteor coming to strike the city. It's not your fault. That is Megalor the Magnificent and his rampage against modern man, right? But because you failed to stop Mangalore the Magnificent's small asteroid he threw at the planet, you will take penalties for it. Not only in your popularity, your pop, but you also can take karma loss. If
So
you
once you pop, then don't stop.
that's what pop does. It's where the people instantly interact with you. You can use your empathy or your logic or your wisdom to, depending on how you want to approach it, to have social conversations, of course. But your pop is how people perceive you. It's your renown, right? And that can go up and down depending on what happens. If you accidentally kill somebody, and sometimes it is necessary, GOP. Sometimes
This
it's for
isn't
the better good.
DC.
Yes.
But
However,
remember, if you're gonna get in a fight with somebody, you always gotta say a catchphrase. It's clobbering time.
it's true. You do need a catchphrase. However, if you do kill in this game, no matter what, all karma gone, including pools. Now you could take karma and put it in different pools. Like I'm working on leveling up my muscle or leveling up my wisdom or what have you. You create pools in this game, and you're kind of saving karma toward those pools. But it doesn't matter if you accidentally kill someone, all karma gone. So karma is a fickle thing, as it is in reality. Don't you love it? I think you gotta like it,
So,
Puffin. You gotta like it.
so just I know what type of character I'm making. I'm gonna have no karma at all.
Mm,
It's gonna be great.
that will be I'll have to send cars off after you.
Well, why can't I
Which I
make
mean,
the predator? Look, I just want to make the predator and collect the trophies on my kills.
No,
he's
he
gonna
can't.
be the
That's not.
Punisher. That's what he wants to
Yeah,
be.
but he can't be a member of Omnicorps and be the Punisher.
I want to be the predator.
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Why
Yeah,
can't I be the predator?
because you can't.
Oh,
That's not the game we're
damn
playing.
it.
We're playing four-color superhero. It is what it is.
Oh,
Like I said, I really think you should have some fun with it, make a character, but you can play Karzov if you like, or Zephyr. Although I don't know how
um,
useful Zephyr is, but Karkov's a badass dude.
I think I'll make a character and it's gonna be funny. I'll play
You
with
should be. It should be funny.
uh,
Yeah.
Oh
I'll
yeah, I'm gonna
feel-
tell you what a Towers character is, so you could kind of come up with some artistic ideas.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you when we're off air, so it's a
Yeah.
surprise for.
Yeah. No.
any,
Sure. Just
listeners.
don't be antagonistic, because I will disallow it.
don't eat the party.
No, we're not doing that. This is going to be four-color fun superhero, and where everyone's going to be a superhero. Matter of fact, of course, whatever Tower has is great. But you know what Tower should do? Do a twist and be the Buzz Lightyear, ultra shiny Dudley Do-Right type of comedy hero. Let's see how he does with that comedy.
No, I think you like. I think you'll like what we're working on.
Cool.
It's yeah.
Yeah. Just keep in mind, this is a four-color superhero game. This is not the Dark Knight. It's not Umbral, which we just did, which you could classify it as a type of kind of superhero, couldn't you? It's not. That's more supernatural. That's not what we're playing. We're playing. Look how bright and colorful everything was. I did it intentionally. This is four-color superheroes. Therefore, you are a good guy, and you do good things, or a good lady. You can be a lady. Anyway,
I bet Lady will be a lady.
she probably will be. But yeah, no, it is a super great game, and you guys are gonna love the flow of it. And I have an interesting idea to do it, because when you do superhero stuff, you have to have an origin, but you have a choice, right? Your origin can either get in the way of the story, as in with Umbral, which is fine. You just have to wrap your story around it, or your origin can just facilitate the game. And that's what I'm doing with this one. The origin is not really important. It's just a little bit of color to how the world came to be. Therefore, the world's got superheroes, superpowered people. That's just the way it is. Done.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm kind of going, I don't know if you'll understand this reference, GOP, but I'm going a little bit Spider Jerusalem here.
I
No?
don't actually
All right,
get
fine.
the reference. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Someone did. Someone in the universe got it. I know. Anyway, that's it. So I'm going to go, and we'll meet in 2
Bye.
weeks. So yeah, sweet.
Oh shit.
All right, guys. I will talk to everybody then. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. I will be super crazy busy, but that's fun too. You guys have any closing comments?
Remember, it's always better with Chester.
Nope,
Well-
but I already have come up with a tagline.
Oh,
My
okay.
own,
Go
my own
ahead.
motto.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I gotta wait till we're offline before I can say it because.
Oh, you want to save it for you want. I know you metagamer, you beautiful metagamer. All right.
I wanna
Later,
save it for the
everybody.
audience
no,
to enjoy.
don't waste it. Don't. You already
Yeah.
wasted Alka-Seltzer. Don't you waste it. All right, here we go. Later, guys.
Have a good one.